Duke basketball continues to deliver content for us to talk about. We're still breaking down the big-time scrimmage that we saw to open up the summer workout session. We continue that conversation with more thoughts on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils.
Hi, everybody. Dick Vitale. Hey, make sure you listen, man, to Locked On Blue Devils with J.J. Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you for being here with me today on Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, where we discuss everything going on in the life of Duke athletics here on Locked On Blue Devils. If you have not done so already, please be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On Blue Devils for free, wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Also, make sure that you watch the show daily on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel. Like this video, share it with your friends. As again, we are so appreciative of your support here of the program. Follow us on X at LO_Blue Devils, and I'm there as well at _JJ_Jackson_. Duke basketball, as we've been discussing this week, has released the first scrimmage footage from summer workouts. We got to break it down. We've totaled up the points. We've got big takeaways to discuss, and who better to have that conversation with than our very good friend, Jordan Mann from the Big J and Little J Show, back with us, long overdue. It's been a few weeks here this summer without J-Man in our lives, but he's back, folks. Jordan, thanks for the time as always.
I'm back, JJ. Yeah, it's good to be back. I've taken a little hiatus from podcasts and stuff for the last couple of weeks, but it's great to be back talking some Duke basketball.
No doubt, man. We've actually got footage to discuss, which is really exciting. Look, on YouTube, we broke it down. Duke basketball released a 6-minute and 12-second clip of the guys scrimmaging. Jordan, that means we have 372 seconds worth of just remarkable footage that we can have all these reactions to here in the summertime.
Yeah, I mean, look, it dropped. I was working that night, and I saw it dropped, and I already saw takes going crazy. So I was excited. Like, I mean, I'm always excited to see for what it is, like just content like Duke puts out, and seeing the new guys. Obviously, Cooper clips are going to go crazy viral, which we'll talk about. What, for better or for worse, it could just be he does a mic and drill layup. It's going to have 700,000 impressions on Twitter, and it is what it is. But yeah, it was awesome to watch, and it's awesome to see the growth of year to year that you see, like the Caleb Foster and Tyrese Proctor coming back.
Yeah, really excited to see those guys continue to develop. Cooper Flagg leading the way for this team. And again, just we talked about it a little bit yesterday. We've talked about it the last few years. How about just the simple fact that, yes, it's 372 seconds that we're going to overreact to and have all these takes, but it's something, Jordan. I mean, previously, it would just be summer's worth of speculation as to what these lineups could look like potentially, what new players might look like wearing that Duke uniform. This season, we actually get to see weird numbers like Mason Gillis wearing number 18 on the back of a Duke basketball uniform practicing. So, look, credit to Duke. Not many teams are willing to put this type of footage out there this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, it's organized pickup, but like to go to your point, JJ, like, it's Duke, so Duke's always going to receive the most flack when they post these type of clips that get these type of impressions on social media. My counterpoint to everybody that is anti-Duke is you are fans of Alabama football, Georgia football, SEC. You're an Auburn guy. When you go to spring games in March and April, 6 months before college football season starts, half those guys are going to transfer anyways, but there's still 70,000 people in the stands excited for 6 months from now. That's all this is for us. On Twitter, is like, hey, it's basically our spring game. Let's watch our guys just have organized pickup, see the newcomers, how they gel. And obviously, it's not like we're going to win the national championship next week, but it's great to see. That's the content we live and breathe for as diehard fans.
Yeah, this first clip that's gone out there now, we've seen pretty much everybody to this Duke basketball team, with the exception of Darren Harris, who we know has a fractured hand, already had successful surgery, and is now going through the recovery and rehab phase. But that's a good positive news as well, right? I mean, we talk about one of the incoming freshmen for Duke is going to be competing in the Paris Olympics for his country. And we were worried about whether or not he'd have a whole lot of time this summer playing for Duke. But we saw Common out there.
Yeah, look, I mean, the first thing about Darren Harris, that sucks because that's one guy I would like to see play more, obviously, with the way he can shoot it. But Common is he looked pretty good. Like, he's a rim runner, lob threat. And again, this is all about breaking down a 6-minute highlight video, but he's going to be the lob threat, something Duke did not have this past year at the 5 position. He's long, and there's some clips where he's still raw. Like when Cooper Flagg had the highlight take of the in and out blow by of Common, and then he dunked it and he yelled. It's not like a little slow, but obviously raw. And then Caleb Foster taking him to the rim and kind of got his way for a nice layup. It's going to happen. The guy just started basketball like 5 years ago, and now he's playing at Duke University. So he'll be fine, but I'm excited for his potential.
Here we are nearing June, and we'll get into the specific players themselves in just a moment. That's coming up in the second segment. We'll highlight some of the big winners that we saw. I'll break down the scoring totals again for folks that might have missed yesterday's show. But again, just sort of the fact that, hey, there were so many guys available in the age of a transfer portal and NIL and players not enrolling early to start in the summer academic semesters. That's happened for Duke once again this summer. Like, you've got everyone there available to go through these practice settings, developing the chemistry and all of those things.
Yeah, it's massive, man. I mean, it's massive. Like you just said, the whole roster is basically there. I mean, Darren Harris would be there if he wasn't hurt. And to speak on that a little bit more, like, one reason I haven't been on the shows because I've been at Davidson working those camps. And so I see those guys work out, but they only have like 6 or 7 guys of the whole team that are there. Now slowly everybody else is coming in, but Duke already has a full squad doing the same thing. It's their basketball camp season 2. So just saying like this, that is a kind of a big deal that you get these young core guys in early in June and now going to be in July.
Really excited to continue to talk about this and talk about some of the individual winners that we have already seen. And we'll continue our conversation here with our pal J-Man when we come back in just a moment here on Locked On Blue Devils. Locked On Blue Devils. That's right. We want to tell you about our sponsor, FanDuel. You know about FanDuel by now. It is, of course, America's #1 sports book. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to start. But last night we saw the playoffs wind down in the NHL. Last week we saw the Celtics win the NBA title. Last night we saw the Tennessee Volunteers, Rocky Top, made it to the top of the college baseball world, winning the national title. So this time of year we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. FanDuel is hooking up all customers this summer with the Boost or Bonus Daily. That's right, a Boost or Bonus Daily. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So right now, head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. It's MLB time. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball, and FanDuel is a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. Keep it moving here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. I'm JJ Jackson, joined today by Jordan Mann at J-Man's Takes on X. We're talking about Cooper Flagg. We're talking about the performance that he had in the summer workouts here for Duke, the first scrimmage that we saw. Again, 6 minutes worth of footage to discuss. I went in and totaled every single shot that was made, as I've done previously. Jordan, Cooper Flagg, I think, caught the most eyeballs. He also happened to be the leading scorer with 15 points, knocking down 3 threes, a couple of dunks. Tell us about what you saw from Cooper.
That's why you're the man, JJ. Keeping box scores of the 6 minutes.
Somebody's got to do it, man.
That's so funny. I mean, look, I love it. Yeah, look, we knew he is very unique and he can score at all phases of the game. His athleticism speaks for itself on both ends, and you saw that in the little glimpses that you could see in the scrimmage, the 6-minute scrimmage. I mean, he hit the 3, one's real pull up. I think he got Isaiah on he shot fake into a sidestep 3. Like, he has poise, he has confidence, he plays within himself, and then obviously, hey, he can finish above the rim. So, like, if you over close out and he doesn't want to shoot the sidestep 3, then he's going to the rim and he's putting on your head. So, like, he's one of those guys. He's different, and people are already annoyed by him. JJ, Duke hasn't even played a game yet. It's going to be Zion-esque in terms of the media fatigue that people that are not Duke fans are going to see on Twitter, but you just got to get over it. This dude's special.
Yeah. Kevin Conley rode shotgun with me on the podcast yesterday, Jordan, and I made the point to him talking about Cooper Flagg that in our 372 seconds worth of footage from Duke basketball, there was one single replay, and it was a Cooper Flagg play, right? The dribble that you talked about earlier, driving past Common and dunking the basketball. It cut over to another angle. I was smart enough not to count that bucket twice in his 15 points. But, I mean, that's the type of player this is, Jordan, that he's getting replays of his excellent plays in a scrimmage, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's special. Like that's just a great IQ play, too, to have a big guy that's 7 feet out there on the perimeter knowing that, hey, you can get by him because you have quicker feet. And that's what he did. And then he flushed it. And, like, look, he's a really good basketball player, JJ. There's not much more I can really say because everybody knows it, but it's awesome to see him now scoring buckets, whether it's in practice, in a practice environment, but he's wearing Duke across his chest rather than in Maine.
Will you shout back to some takes that are out there for me? If you could shout back, Jordan, something I'm seeing a good bit right now as well are these clips surfacing and people, I don't know what the right word is. I would imagine most of them not the biggest Duke basketball fans in the world, but they're not too excited that it appears that Cooper Flagg is talking a little bit of trash, talking a little mess in practice and in scrimmages and that sort of thing. How ridiculous is that?
Kobe once said it, soft. Like, what are we talking about? That you're telling on yourself you've never played sports in general, high school, college, whatever. If you're like, oh, you shouldn't be talking crap in practice. Please. If you would have been in the locker rooms that I've seen and the stories that obviously people around, that's ridiculous. You got to talk. That's also the competitive edge that people were like, Duke is soft this past season that we've talked about in length. Yeah. You want to see that. You want to see that type of competitiveness because iron sharpens iron, and next guy's going to step up, do the same thing to him, and he's going to be okay with it.
Meaning it's all love at the end of the day, but in a lot of ways it's good to go ahead and have those moments in practice because maybe that's going to, piss off someone on the opposite side of Cooper Flagg's team in these scrimmage settings, and then they elevate their game, and the next thing you know, it really is Duke against everybody when they get into those games. It feels like it's a one team fighting together as one.
Yeah, and look, also Duke has one of the best social media teams out there.
Yeah.
They're not going to post a clip of him yelling like that if it's controversial and then it starts like a little scrum or starts bickering. They're not going to post it. So clearly it's all love, and they know it's just the competitive environment.
I love it. All right, so Cooper Flagg, obviously a big winner in what we saw. The guards coming back to this year's Duke team, Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster, they both had 11 points in the scrimmage. Proctor knocked down 3 3-point shots, had a couple of lobs for each of them to the rim to some of the big fellas there. What did you notice out of the guards?
I liked what I saw of Proctor finishing in the paint. I know last time I was on here, I was talking about it. I had this breakdown. It's just in the vault right now. Like I said, I stepped away and did not do anything for a couple of weeks. But one of the things was Proctor, I think, was 1 of 9 from around the rim in the tournament for Duke and for layups and stuff. And seeing him make contested ones around the big bodies that are now on the Duke roster, especially with the left hand, is something that's legit. And so I think we need to see more of that. And same with Caleb Foster. Caleb Foster was really good last offseason, JJ, where he was clipped up a lot, doing a lot of tough finishes, tough step back. So seeing him being comfortable one-on-one and getting to the rim as a sophomore now, it's good to see. All good vibes.
Con Knippel had 10 points. That's the next in line. Sion James had 8, if you want to talk about those two players. I think those two guys surprised a whole lot of people. They were kind of the big winners. You would expect Cooper Flagg with all his buzz to make big plays. And then we're talking about 2 guards that played on last year's squad. But how about James? How about Knippel with their play?
Yeah, I'll start with Con. I really like Con. I've said that since he was coming to Duke. I think he's been a little slept on, kind of like Caleb Foster was coming in this past season, JJ. I felt like he was more undervalued to be talked about. Con comes in, they're like, he's just going to be like a shooter type is what people assumed. Well, he can put the ball on the floor and he can get to the rim. And he's shockingly sneaky athletic. I don't know if you ever heard that term before, JJ, but he's sneaky athletic. And he can finish at the rim. And what I really liked was when the shot's not there, he was poised to pass and relocate, get it back on a catch and shoot and hit the three. Like, he has the rhythm of the game. He's very comfortable within himself. And I think he's going to play for Duke as long as he can play defense. That's one thing in the clips you don't really see, except for the guy we're about to talk about now, Sion James. Boy, can that dude guard.
Amen.
And I am excited for Sion. Don't know what his role is going to be. Like, we can talk. I can blow smoke and say, hey, he's going to play 30 minutes a game, but he might play 15 minutes a game. Regardless, you know what you're getting from Sion because he doesn't need to score to be effective. He did. He scored in the scrimmage and stuff, which is great, but his defense, he blocked Common like at the peak of his dunk. He blocked Malawak, and then he bumped, was it Proctor off his line, then blocked his shot. Like that, the dude's this physical specimen. Great feet, great hands, and just great instincts. And he's going to win games for Duke while not scoring the ball.
We love it. All right, let's keep going. Again, 8 points for Sion James, 10 points for Con Knippel. And then some of the other young freshmen, pretty impressive. The big fellas, Common had 6, Patton Gaba had 4. Both of those guys made big-time catches at the rim, a couple of putbacks. Seemed like they were pretty active on the defensive end. That's what we expect to see from these guys, right?
Yeah. Like, it's tough to really gauge with them because obviously they're either scoring via lobs or they're just, being tall in the scrimmages. And you know what? Like, that's okay because the 2 years ago when Duke had Derek Lively struggled early because I think people really thought Derek Lively was going to be an offensive guy also for Duke, and he just wasn't. He never developed that type of in-game mentality. And with 2 years later now, like, Malawak is kind of the same, like, rim runner, lob threat, plays tall defensively guy to where you don't need him to be like, you see the clips of him shooting corner threes and hitting them and stuff, but are they really going to be shots that he's going to shoot in games? We don't know. So if it's all he is right now is a rim runner and lob threat for Duke, same with Pat, that's fine because Duke has 4 other guys on the court, as we have seen, that are very talented scorers. So they don't need to be guys that go out there and average 14 points per game. They can just average 8 and 6, and then, hey, Duke's going to be fine.
We love it. We love it. All right, let's go ahead and we'll take our last break here on today's show. When we come back, we'll wrap up the conversation. Duke's been in the headlines and the NBA over the last few days. We'll catch you up to speed on that and a little bit more when Locked On Blue Devils continues in a moment. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. It's the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Let's keep it moving here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. JJ Jackson joined today by Jordan Mann. He's got the Big J and Little J show. He's on X at JMan's Takes. What do you want to promote here today, Jordan? What can people do to help support you?
Well, look, put in the comments. I'm going to use your comments section, JJ. Okay. We are recording the Big J and Little J show either late, like basically around the 4th of July. It'll come out after the 4th of July. Q&As. If you have any questions, put it on the comments. I'll read the comments on here for better or for worse. Yeah. And I will answer your comments, use your username, and talk about it on the podcast. And also, if you have any video breakdown ideas, like I'm going to do, obviously, Proctor and stuff, but I want to hear from your audience as well. If you want to see something on my channel, I'll do it if it works. If it makes sense, I will not say no.
Check it out. We love it. And, there are the J-Man Army certainly speaks up from time to time in the comment section of Locked On Blue Devils, and we love that. So be sure to comment, subscribe, and then also go subscribe to Jordan's channel as well. So with that being said, Jordan, yesterday, the Los Angeles Lakers officially introduced J.J. Redick as their 29th head coach in franchise history. And the takes today, much better than they were, I think, when the news first broke. Shocker, JJ Redick knows how to communicate and talk to people because, man, it seems like a lot of people felt like he really won the press conference. I watched all 47 minutes or whatever it was of him and Pelinka fielding Q&A questions. And, this shouldn't be a surprise to people that he did such a good job. I think he's the right man for the job to take this on.
Well, JJ, there's some big J's out there that are upset that he dropped the F-bomb in a press conference. Well, have you not heard JJ Redick talk on Old Man and the Three or the LeBron podcast or in general? He doesn't care.
Right.
But I'm excited for him. I tweeted about it when he was named the head coach. Who would have thought 20 years ago there was a sign that had him like the third most hated person in the country behind Osama bin Laden and I think somebody else when he was in college at Duke. So fast forward 20 years later, now he's a head coach for one of the most prominent NBA jobs, arguably the most prominent NBA job, them and the Celtics. And I'm happy for him. It's well-deserved. And for the people that are skeptical because he's never coached, it doesn't really matter. And I don't say that as a joke really, but I was talking to some friends of mine, you think about baseball, every former catcher immediately goes to manager. There's guys I'm a Braves fan. So Brian Snitker spent 35 years in the minor leagues until he got the job to be a manager for the Atlanta Braves. And that just happens. That's one way. Or you could be David Ross and retire. And then bam, you're the head coach or the manager of the Chicago Cubs. We saw it with Steve Kerr with the Warriors. He was a TNT and then went to the Warriors, transitioned fine. It happens. And so if it doesn't work, I am worried for him that it is the Lakers, it is LeBron, because I know he was in rumblings with the Hornets. And it is also funny, obviously, I'm a Hornets fan. Your audience knows I'm a Hornets fan. It was the butt of all jokes. Of course, the Hornets are interviewing JJ Redick, a podcaster, for an NBA job, unserious franchise. Then fast forward a month later, and he's with the Lakers. But I think that would have been a better opportunity, or not better opportunity, but an easier job to get in, lean into. There's no stress. Yeah. You're with the Hornets, rebuild. But, he's a competitor. He played at Duke, has that competitive edge, knows what it takes to be in the spotlight, and I think he'll be fine and do all right.
For sure. For any example that we can give of a Steve Kerr or somebody stepping right in from playing from the broadcast space, I know Steve Kerr had a couple of years with executive work as a GM with the Phoenix Suns, moving over, that's been successful for him. There are also names that we can throw out there of former players who are doing what JJ Redick did, like Steve Nash most recently with the Brooklyn Nets, who it just didn't work for whatever reason, a variety of different reasons. But I do think, to your point, and JJ Redick was making this point along with Lakers GM Rob Pelinka, basketball knowledge is basketball knowledge. JJ Redick has a ton of NBA experience, just not actively as a head coach. A couple of Duke ties in the press conference that I thought were certainly worthy of mentioning, talking about Mike Krzyzewski, who had been rumored to be kind of an advisor for the Lakers during this search. JJ Redick made it a point that 20 years ago, all of this, by the way, was yesterday when JJ Redick was celebrating his 40th birthday. Only one birthday mentioned for him in the entire press conference, but a pretty good 40th birthday gift for him. 20 years ago in 2004, the Lakers tried to take Coach K away while JJ Redick was playing for them. Now, 20 years later, JJ Redick said he accepted the job offer in the Duke Hall of Fame as he was there with his two sons as they were attending the Duke basketball camp. That was one of the Duke references, first and foremost. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, JJ. I mean, look, that's a great nugget. That's why I love you, dude. 47-minute press conference, you catch those. I didn't know that. That's awesome. And, and can we also – how hard is it to spell his last name correctly? It's not two D's, it's one D. For the love of God, I keep seeing people misspell JJ Redick in his
Yeah, spell it correctly, please, at this point. No excuse not to. Last thing I'll put in a Duke connection there, JJ Redick talking a lot about the influential coaches that he's had throughout his career, from Stan Van Gundy and Doc Rivers, Rick Carlisle. And then he also was able to talk about, obviously, the years that he had with Mike Krzyzewski, how much Coach K meant to him. And he made the point that only one person in his life does he call coach, and that is Coach K. So when he was playing all those years with the Clippers for Doc Rivers, it wasn't Coach, it was just Doc. And JJ Redick said already, Jalen Hood, Shafinio, and Maxwell Lewis, who just finished their rookie years with the Lakers, got off the phone with him and called JJ Redick coach. And he immediately told them, don't do that. I'm JJ. There's only one coach. It's Coach K. I thought that was funny.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, that is the professional level, though, too. You don't really hear them call anybody coach.
Right.
So, even like I think with Pop, they call him Pop.
Right.
So it's like, but that is really cool. I'm excited for him, and I hope that he just doesn't get the negative media press.
Yeah.
I'm already annoyed with for him.
Well, it continues tomorrow in terms of Duke and the NBA. We've got the NBA draft coming up. We'll see Kyle Filipowski and Jared McCain. We hope to hear their names called in the first round. If not, we'll have to wait until Thursday, first time that they're separating the draft, first and second round. These guys will be drafted. Let's just hope it's in the first round, Jordan.
Absolutely. I'm excited and curious to see where they go.
We'll find out starting tomorrow. Jordan, as always, it's a pleasure having you here on the show. Long overdue. Glad to have you back, and we'll do this again sometime soon, okay?
It's good to be back, JJ.
All right, that's Jordan Mann joining us here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. Another good conversation. Comment down below your thoughts about Duke basketball after we've seen this scrimmage video that was released. If you've got any questions for Jordan, ask him down in our comments down below. And go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Leave us a 5-star rating and written review. That'll do it for today's show. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you tomorrow. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.